Okay. Jake Sullivan wrote in saying, I was wondering if Charles knew anything about the folklore involving the wild hunt, and if there were any records of sightings of it in pre-Christian or medieval Europe. And does he know about any other cavalcades of spirits in European folklore?
Wow, is this October? No, it actually, just like with St. Elmo, June is, speaking of European folklore, June is a very spooky month.
Why is that?
Well, because June 23rd, St. John's Eve, or Midsummer Eve, in Europe is like Halloween in summer.
St. John the Baptist?
Yeah. They have big bonfires and tell ghost stories, and there are all sorts of weird legends about strange things happening on St. John's Eve. People getting drunk and all kinds of stuff. But later in the summer, like into July, August, the Chinese have their Hungry Ghost Festival, which the Japanese call Obon. So I guess the summer could be a weird time. You don't have to wait till Halloween to get weirded out by everything.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're living in the present, weirded out is probably a good state of mind to remain in permanently. But at any rate, I'm digressing. The wild hunt. Well, yes, I do know a bit about the wild hunt. It comes in many different forms. In England, at least in southern England, they spoke of the wild hunt as being led by Herne the Hunter, who was a huntsman of King Henry II, who was killed in Windsor Forest. And it's referenced by Sir John Falstaff in Merry Wives of Windsor. The northern England, they call them the Gabriel Hounds. There's St. Hubert's Hounds in Belgium. They have many, in some versions, the devil is the chief huntsman. In others, it's a character who insisted on hunting when he shouldn't have. Like the dandy dogs are supposed to be led by a friar who neglected all of his duties to go hunting constantly. And so the devil showed up one day, and it was on a holy day when he shouldn't have gone hunting. And the devil told him that he knew some great sport. And all of his friends, who were as debauched as he was, said, I wouldn't go with that man, and not today. He said, oh, nonsense. I'll hunt with him even though I've got to go to hell itself. So off went the good friar and his hounds, and you can see them up to this day. And one of the typical stories that they tell, and I've got to say there are medieval chronicles and all that, monks' writings and so forth, where people have seen these things, so I've not had myself, I can't tell you. But the one folk tale that comes to mind, bearing in mind that in a lot of versions, what the wild hunt is hunting for are damned souls and unbaptized infants.
Wow.
The fellow was drunk one night. He's coming home from the tavern, and he sees the wild hunt, and he says to the huntsman, "Share your quarry with me." And the huntsman laughs at him, throws him a bag, and rides off. Well, he opens the bag, and it's his infant child.
Oh my God.
Who then vanishes, and he rides home as fast as ever he can, only to find his cheerful wife telling him that the unbaptized infant had died.
So, why was the infant unbaptized? They decided not to baptize it?
No, time element. But that's why in Western Europe, baptizing a kid immediately after he was born was considered the thing to do because it made him immune to all that kind of stuff. It drew him out of Satan's kingdom. In the witch lore of the Middle Ages, a lot of the things they called for, verse their candles.
Sorry, did you say witch war?
Witch lore.
Oh, witch lore. Okay.
I don't know, witch lore. Oh, sorry, the lore of witches.
Oh, the lore of witches. I'm sorry.
Called for the use of the fat of unbaptized children and candles and flying ointment and things like that. In the west of France, the Vendée and places like that, mothers wouldn't embrace their child until they'd been baptized. So it's a good thing, despite living in a day where children can go for months.
Yeah.
I think our ancestors, regardless of whether or not this stuff is literally true, I think, given the possibility of death, crib death, and so forth,
Yeah.
I think baptizing the kids straight away is a smart idea. And then you could do all of your classes for the godparents and all of your filling out of the paperwork
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Maybe that could be done in due course. In New York, of course, we always make the joke about Puerto Rican baptisms, because the old grandmother immediately baptizes the kid in the hospital. And then they'll do a conditional baptism later.
Okay.
It's almost regular practice.
Wow.
But don't wait on that baptism, gang. Not if there's the slightest bit of danger. You don't want the kid being taken off. There are two, you might say not exactly parodies, but versions of the same idea in more recent times. My own people, the French Canadians, tell a horrible tale about the chasse-galerie, which is a canoe full of voyageurs who insisted on going out trading on a holy day, and ended up in the devil's employ. And so there's sort of a Flying Dutchman canoe. And then most recently, let's see how good your memory is, there's a country western song made famous amongst others by Johnny Cash that deals with a similar story.
A Western country?
Country western.
John, I'm not a big. I don't listen to a lot of Johnny Cash. I'm sorry.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, this America's youth. All right. Ghost Riders in the Sky. No?
No, I'm sorry.
Minnie Pearl?
No.
She has nothing to do with it. Anyway, Ghost Riders in the Sky is a sort of country western cowboy retelling of the Wild Hunt story.
Wow.
So, when you're done listening, ladies and gentlemen, you slink in there to your video, Ghost Riders in the Sky, which actually, oddly enough, gives you a great feeling, if you will, for that particular legend. Kind of like Dickie Lee's Laurie does such a good job for the Vanishing Hitchhiker. But anyway.
Sounds like the Wild Hunt is really tied to Christianity.
It is. I mean, in some versions, one of the old gods, Odin or Thor or somebody, is doing it. But yeah, it's in the versions we have, it certainly is tied to Christianity. And with a lot of this stuff, it's like with the Christmas tree. It may have had heathen origins, but trust me, most people don't put it up at Christmas to pray to the Norse gods. That's not what's going on there.